Welcome to this explainer. If there is one result from this World Cup that has truly shaken the global football landscape, it's this one right here. We are breaking down the ultimate shock. Norway stunning the five-time champions Brazil in a 2-1 thriller to reach the quarterfinals for the very first time in their history. It's a match that sent absolute shockwaves through MetLife Stadium and, frankly, completely rewrote World Cup history.
So you really have to wonder, how did a heavily favored Brazilian squad, totally packed with elite attacking talent, just crash out against the underdogs? I mean, coming into this game, everyone expected Brazil's experience to shine through. But Norway didn't show up to just admire the Silasol, right? They came to compete. Their discipline, their physicality, and their absolute, unshakable belief completely dismantled the Brazilian dream.
Section 1. The Ultimate World Cup Upset. The historical weight of Brazil versus Norway's discipline. Okay, let's dive right into the incredible history behind this massive David versus Goliath clash.
The statistical impossibility of this matchup is just fascinating to me. Across 5 historical meetings, Brazil has won exactly, well, actually, they haven't won at all. 0 times. Norway has won 3 of those matchups, including that famous 1998 World Cup group stage victory, and drawn 2. So despite Brazil's status as a global giant, Norway walked onto the pitch backed by this incredible boogeyman mythos. They knew they had literally never ever lost to them.
And when you flip that around to look at Brazil's perspective, this single number tells the whole story. 1990. To put that into perspective, that was the last time Brazil had been knocked out of a World Cup this early, in the round of 16. To fail to reach the quarterfinals is considered a massive, almost unthinkable failure by Brazilian standards. I mean, this extends their longest title drought to 6 World Cups.
Section 2. The penalty that changed everything. A crucial 14th-minute moment shifts the balance.
So, the match starts out pretty much exactly as you'd expect. Brazil is dominating possession, moving the ball quickly and pinning Norway deep in their own half. Then, a 14th-minute VAR review gives them a penalty. Vinicius Jr., their top scorer, holds the ball initially, but then, inexplicably, he hands it over to Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes steps up, does a stutter step, and shoots, but 35-year-old Norwegian keeper Erling Haaland dives low to his left and makes a massive save. Just like that, Brazil misses their first non-shootout World Cup penalty since 1986.
After the match, Brazilian assistant coach Davide Ancelotti basically said, well, it was decided before the game that Guimaraes was the designated taker. But put yourself in the shoes of a Brazilian fan watching this at home. You are going to be second-guessing this for the next 4 years for sure. In a massive knockout game, why wouldn't you let your elite, in-form scorer take the shot that puts you firmly in the driver's seat?
That save, it was like a switch flipped. It was the exact moment the emotional balance of the whole match shifted. The inevitable expectation that Brazil was going to win just vanished into thin air. Instead, pure Norwegian belief took over. You could literally see it in their body language. Norway's defenders grew in confidence. Their midfielders started stepping into challenges with way more aggression, and the pressure on Brazil mounted heavily with every single passing scoreless minute.
Section 3. Enter Erling Haaland. The clinical striker punishes Brazil's missed chances.
Now, as we map out these chaotic final minutes, Brazil was pushing hard, but severely lacked ruthlessness. They were missing massive chances, including a huge one by 19-year-old substitute Endrick. And Norway, sitting patiently, made them pay. Boom, 79th minute, Haaland smashes a downward header past Alisson. 1-0 Norway. A desperate Brazil hits the panic button, leaving wide open spaces at the back, and in the 90th minute, Haaland strikes again with a ruthless shot right through Danilo's legs. 2-0. The stadium is absolutely stunned. Neymar did manage to convert a penalty deep into stoppage time at 90+10, but honestly, it was too little too late.
Haaland's late heroics were just an absolute masterclass in clinical finishing. By scoring in those crucial dying moments, he mathematically shattered Brazil's hopes while bringing his own tournament total to an incredible 7 goals. He didn't just score, he completely silenced the 5-time champions, sent shockwaves for the entire tournament, and wrote himself directly into World Cup history. Just listen to this post-match quote from Haaland. It perfectly showcases the raw emotion and the sheer magnitude of what these Norwegian underdogs had just accomplished. He couldn't even put it into words, calling it completely insane. Norway played with absolutely no pressure, treating the knockout stage as a bonus. And that freedom is exactly what allowed them to execute one of the most historic upsets we've ever seen.
Section 4. Neymar's final stand. Psychological warfare and a bittersweet farewell.
Amidst all the celebration and chaos, there was this incredible moment right before Neymar takes that 100th minute penalty. Orion Nyland, who's obviously riding high from his earlier save, tries to get into Neymar's head. He points and tells him, "I'll stop it for you, I'll stop it." But Neymar, cool as ever, just slots it home and yells right back, "Not to me, not to me." It's a brilliant piece of trash talk. It's a fascinating psychological subplot where Neymar undeniably won the individual battle, but ultimately lost the war.
The aftermath of this game provides a deeply poignant symmetry. Neymar actually announced his retirement from international football right after the final whistle. His incredible journey with Brazil began back in August 2010 with a debut at this very same MetLife Stadium. Now, 16 years later, it ends on the exact same pitch, closing a defining era of Brazilian football on a very somber note.
Section 5. A brand or a team? Analyzing the deeper issues within Brazilian football that this defeat so clearly exposed.
Pulling the lens back for a second, sports journalists immediately started highlighting some glaring squad weaknesses. You've got a Brazilian midfield that looked like it was running on old legs, with a distinct lack of creativity. Because 19-year-old Endrick wasn't quite ready to be the main man yet, they lacked a serviceable true striker. Their play style under Carlo Ancelotti was surprisingly tentative and reactive. They were just sort of waiting for Norwegian mistakes rather than forcing the issue, and over-relying entirely on Vinicius Jr. to create every single spark of danger. Which makes this quote from head coach Carlo Ancelotti kinda baffling, to be honest. Calling an exit in the round of 16, their earliest since 1990, a good campaign, underscores a massive disconnect between Brazil's historical standards and their current reality. While he admits they need new ideas and young talent, calling this run good feels completely out of step with the heavy expectations of the Brazilian faithful.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative question to chew on. With 3 straight failures to even reach the semifinals, is Brazil currently surviving just on the history of its global brand rather than actual cohesion on the pitch? It's a heavy question, and they have 4 long years to figure out the answer. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.